What is going on? What is going on, everybody in the house? What is going on? Wake up in Cleveland every single morning, at least every single morning I choose for it to be on. Hope everybody's having a fantastic morning. For some of us, it's not morning. For others, it's definitely morning. Like, I literally got up, jumped into the shower, tried to eat something really quick, and set this thing up. So it's a work in progress, which is why I never say 9 a.m. on the dot. I say 9 a.m.-ish, because I just, it's just not my thing sometimes. But I'm actually pretty impressed that I can get myself up. I know that doesn't sound like a really big personal accomplishment, but you know, baby steps, right? Baby steps. We got to pick and choose what we think is a milestone, and a milestone for me is waking up. Waking up at around 8-ish, 8:30. Wake up before my kids have finished school. You know, little things like that. All right, let me move over to the chat. Let's see who's in the house. All right, it is quiet in the house right now, but that is okay. I got Andreas Welch on the YouTube side. I got DJ Queasy in the house. Good to see you, pal. T Diesel, moderator extraordinaire in the house. Lee Men, what's going on? Good to see you. NJX1. It's great that Innofader is here today because I've been thinking about getting one in the Prime 4. Well, you are definitely here on the right day. You're definitely here on the right day. The D Freeze in the house. What's going on? Danny G. What is going on? What is going on? And my Streamlabs working overtime. That's moderators right there. Moderators taking care of me. Moderators are up in my Streamlabs doing the things that need to be done because I am surely not doing them. Kill Hall in the house. What is going on? Good to see you, pal. Good to see you. Let me hit this autoplay so it keeps on going. DJ Mark 1. I like how he's like, no, I'm DJ Mark 1. That's what you call me. Call me DJ Mark 1. Thanks for hanging out with us today. Moberry in the house. Ray Funk 817. DJ Charlo. Hope I'm saying that right. Charlo. Yeah, Prime 4. I was thinking the same thing. Yeah, we'll definitely talk about that. DJ Damages. What is going on? Good morning in Cleveland. Yep. For all that don't know, of course, as I always say, Cleveland is my name, not where I reside. So if anybody was unsure, no, I don't live in Ohio. I've never been to Ohio. I live in Southern California. That's my place. So Cleveland is actually my real name. Just remember that. Pass it on. Feel free to pass it on, because that is literally a thing I spend 60% of my day when I'm on Twitch doing, is legitimately telling people that is my name. That's what I do. All right, we're gonna obviously continue to keep this moving. We're gonna let some people come on. We want to make sure that it's a packed house when we do bring Innofader on. He's sitting in the green room waiting, which is what a fantastic guest should do. Not get on at literally 9:46 like, hey, what am I supposed to be on? Like, nobody likes that. So I appreciate that. A couple of times I've literally been talking to people and just like, I don't know if I'm supposed to keep going or not, but we're going to keep going until he shows up. But look, it's only so much you can ask from people when you don't pay them. They work on their own time schedule then. I'm kind of the same way. Yesterday, I was actually on Billy Lane's Twitch, 916 Junglist. And it was 6:16. So for me, 6 o'clock, that's like prime family time. I was wondering if that was going to go out on me. That light did went out on me. So please hold for a minute. Yeah, so don't be surprised if all the lights don't just go out today. One of the joys of having them on, one of the joys of a battery-powered light, and these are the Ape Labs Ape Sticks, by the way. Got Ape Sticks on the sides, and I got the Max on the bottom. The problem is they are battery-powered, and which is great. It lasts a long time, but I've been using them for a couple days. I used them yesterday. I used them last night. I used them during one of my testing streams. So it is, so don't be surprised if it dies on me, because it will likely die on me. But I do have it plugged in now, but the other one's definitely going to die. The one behind me is probably going to die. It is what it is. Live and learn, live and learn. But I love them. I love them. The biggest problem with Ape Labs, in case anybody was wondering, is the charging port. They make it really convenient to charge the lights. They have this one dedicated power brick, what they spider out for all the power. And then you plug everything into the spider. But the problem is it's one cord with like 8 outs. So that means that unlike some things where you can maybe walk over and plug it in and plug it into a wall, and you walk up to the next one and plug it in and plug it into another outlet, you are limited to how you plug it in because it's one cable for all of them. It's a spider out. So a little annoying. I'm not gonna lie to you, a little annoying. So, okay, so back to my story. So yesterday, I was on 916 Junglist. I was doing an interview for him, but it was at 6:16, 9:16 Eastern Standard Time. As you can see, 916 Junglist, 6:16. Atomic clock approved. And so the wife, the son, they're off at dance class, and I'm here with the youngest. But I got to make food. I gotta go to the grocery store. So I throw the 8-year-old in the car, and this was like at, I don't know, 5 o'clock. I throw the 8-year-old in the car, run to Albertsons, Vons, whatever you want to call it. It's Albertsons here. And start shopping. Now, I don't know if you guys know this, but it's really difficult to shop with an 8-year-old. 8-year-olds don't listen. They don't support your goal of getting in and out of the grocery store super fast. So I'm running around, I'm grabbing things, I'm trying to do things, and she's like, what about this? What about this? What about this? Hey, and I'm like, come on, hang on, let me push the cart. And I swear to God, I'm like about to just give her some NyQuil and throw her in the basket. And so we're running around. Finally, we get to a point where we're done. We're finally done. I go get in line, and the line is super, super long. Now, our Albertsons just opened up this self-checkout. But I had a lot of stuff, so I'm like, I'm not going to go in the self-checkout. So I go in line, and, it's just like anything else. Once you start to go to the same store, you start to know the people. We moved here a couple of years ago to this particular area. And the guy's like, hey, man, go over there. I'm going to help you. So I said, okay. And so there was a line. There was a checkout for 7, a checkout for 8, which was empty, and then the self-checkout. So there's nobody in 8. The guy is in 7 saying, hey, go over there. I'm going to help you. Okay. I go to the self-checkout, start checking out. And I'm like, this is weird. Like, I feel like I have too much stuff. I mean, self-checkout for me is reserved for like 4 things. And it's like 4 normal things. A bag of M&Ms, you know, some soda, maybe a loaf of bread. But I mean, I'm doing like vegetables and fruit, like all of these things that require you to like be an employee of the store, like tapping in codes and everything. So I'm in there and I'm doing it. I'm just like, this feels weird. And the guy comes up to me like, and I've been there for like 10 minutes, right? Because it's taking my codes, but then I go to fruit and the fruit's like, tell me what it is. Got to type in zucchini. Okay, is it the organic one or is it the regular one? I'm like, Jesus Christ, it's just zucchini. Put it on the thing. Let's weigh it. I got to put it on the thing and weigh it. Okay, verify that that's the weight. I don't know. I'm not a scale. So I'm doing all this stuff. And then finally he comes over and he's like, hey man, why are you here? Like, what do you mean, why am I here? He goes, no, I wanted you to go to 8. I'm like, 8? There was nobody on 8. Why? You are ringing people up on 7. Why in the world would I assume that you also ring people up on 8? Does that even make any sense? So that took me, because I had a lot of stuff. It took me like 15 minutes and I had to bag everything myself. Me. I'm not above bagging. But you know, there is definitely a method to how you bag stuff, especially when you have eggs and you have vegetables and you have sodas. Like there's a method to that. And it was tough. Like I don't know that I could ever work there. And the lady when I was done, she was like, I can't believe you did that. I'm like, I can't believe you didn't send me a check because I'm an employee today. This is employee stuff. I expect a check on Friday. So anyway, so I was a little late to 916 Junglist show. It was a little late. I mean, I got on like right at 6:16, but I wanted to be on a little early just to make sure, get everything ready and everything. So I was a little late. I was that guy yesterday. Sometimes we're that guy. Sometimes. Let's check the room out one more time here. Let me get onto my Twitch so I can see what is happening. Hit that mute button. Okay. Yeah, see, people are starting to get used to the time, which is why I start early. Because people, they wait. They wait for the interview. So I have some people, and it's funny because I've been changing the timing of the interview. Sometimes it's 10, sometimes it's 9:45. It just kind of depends on what I'm seeing out there. And of course, I can't see my numbers today because for some reason Restream is telling me I have 0 people on, and I know that's not true, but it is what it is. Okay, let's check out the room one more time here because I see people that are on YouTube. I see them all. DJ Gemini in the house, DJ L Boogie in the house. The D Freeze, what's going on? Good to see you. I think that's Temptation. Temptation is that how you pronounce it? Temptation. Entertainment. I think that's what that is. Temptation. I'm not even gonna make an assumption. Write in the comments what that actually means, because it could be like Tentacion or something like that. I mean, I don't even know. It is in San Diego, which is very close to the Mexico border. So I could be forgetting an accent somewhere in the mix. T Diesel in the house. Damages. Let's see. That explains why LeBron here. Yeah, LeBron's not following me anywhere. I was not a fan of LeBron coming on. I'm going to be honest with you. When they said he was here, I was like, I feel like we could do better. And I know a lot of people are going to say LeBron is the greatest to ever do it. I do not agree. I think he's a really, really good player. A really good player. Probably one of the best of this generation. I don't consider him to be the best player to ever do it. I've seen way too many examples of like what the best players look like over my lifetime, and I still can't qualify LeBron as that. That's just facts. That's my facts. As people say, that's my truth. That's what I believe. All right, let's see what we got here. Yeah, DJ T Diesel. Yeah, the Ape Labs are dope. Like I said, it's just the battery does last forever. I just got lazy. I knew yesterday I probably should have charged them, but I got lazy. A lot of stuff, kids, life, things happen. But they are really, really dope. And the only issue I have is every so often I can't get the light to not take sound into consideration. That's the one thing. Every so often it'll blast off like if I'm loud. See? It does that. So it just teaches me that I need to speak within the smooth jazz voice of Wake Up in Cleveland. That's all it means. That's all it means. But they're good. I'm going to do a video on them at some point, just to kind of talk about them. It's really hard to do a video on lights when you're stuck in your home and you don't bring them out like you used to when they're just here. So I will talk about them in a video like this, just like this. All right, what do we got here? Marcus Bell, good morning. Jose Lugo, good morning. 9 Iron, what's going on, man? Good to see you. Ratbone in the house. Cat dog. Every time I say your name, that's what I think of. Jay Dizzle, what's going on? Good to see you. DJ Jam on the YouTube side. DJ Pep 718, what's going on? Royal Singleton. Okay, so this is actually a good question. Royal says, how do you like that Rode podcast mic compared to a condenser? Okay. Obviously there are different things. This is a dynamic mic compared to a condenser mic, which is completely exposed to all the elements. For me, if you are DJing and you have a booth monitor, you have anything that's bringing out noises, condenser mics are the worst thing that you can use. Dynamic mics are great because they are directional, which means that the element is here. So I'm talking into here. When I move over here, you have trouble hearing me. So any sound that's coming from over here, like my booth monitor, things like that, they're not gonna really bleed into the microphone. So consider this a performance microphone. Now, it does still sound good. It's a really good dynamic mic, and for the cost of $100, it's hard to beat the quality of this microphone. And it looks good. It has a really good weight to it. I don't have any issues with this mic, but I have a Rode NTK, a $700 condenser microphone that I considered for about half a second. I plugged in the phantom power and all that stuff, turned it on, and it was pulling in anything and everything, which meant I would have to totally monitor my sound like critically. And I did not want to do that. That's just too much work. But condenser mics are great. I just don't think they're good for these. I mean, yeah, they look cool. Everybody wants to look cool when they're twitching in YouTube, but the fact is, it should sound good, and you shouldn't have bleed. The more bleed you have, the more you risk feedback. There's all of the feedback loops. There's all of these things that you just want to do away with. So if you can't get one of these, literally get yourself like a Shure, like a SM58, some sort of dynamic microphone. I even had the Pile mic that my son uses now. That mic had serious volume strength in there, and it was. I made jokes about it, but it was a pretty decent microphone. That Pile mic. So yeah, I really do like this microphone. Would I use this microphone for recording an album? No, I would pull out my condenser microphone there. But for things like this, for talking on the mic, radio stuff, I got kids in the next room doing school, and I don't want you hearing that. So this is a great mic. Louis Aranda, what is going on? Good to see you on the YouTube side. Metric Jersey in the house. Good to see you. Joe Funk. You said it had to be said. You know what? I talk a lot, so I don't even remember what I said, but I'm glad it helped you. Oh, we're talking about LeBron. Yeah. Yeah. Gemini says, not better than MJ. No, he's not. I mean, all you have to do, and I wonder if Jay Book is in the house because Jay is a proponent of LeBron's amazingness. All you have to do is watch The Last Dance. Just watch it. It's like 7 episodes. It shows you the history of their last championship, the Bulls' last championship. And if you questioned how good MJ was, because it's not just about the talent level. If you question that, once you watch this, it will change your mind. Once the real heads, the real old heads, the Larry Birds, the Magic Johnsons, the Gary Paytons, like all these people that are considered to be the best in what they do. Once you do that, and once they tell you, no, there's nobody better than Michael. That should be enough. If people put Magic Johnson on a pedestal, deservingly so, then if Magic says, no, Michael's the best player to ever do it, you should probably trust that. I don't know. I mean, the whole point is to trust professionals. You go to YouTube and you look at people's reviews because you trust them. So why is it different for LeBron? You know what I mean? Like, if the professionals say somebody else is better, I'm going to trust the professionals. And I'm going to trust my eyeballs. And my eyeballs tell me that he has weaknesses. Like, obvious weaknesses. Now, neither here nor there. I'm not going to keep talking about LeBron, but Jordan is my guy. Jordan's always going to be my guy. I haven't seen... The closest I came to Jordan was Kobe. And even then, Jordan is still my guy. Kobe had flaws too. I watched Jordan. Jordan didn't have flaws. Like, at all. What do I think about Allen Iverson? Allen Iverson was super dope. Probably one of the best point guards to ever do it. Changed the game completely. Nobody can touch Allen Iverson. I don't think he was the best player ever, but he was definitely he's like, what's his face? Oh God, I'm drawing a blank right now because it's morning. From Golden State. I can't remember his name right now. But anyway, you guys know who I'm talking about. Like, a player will come out and be so dramatically different than everybody else that the whole entire game changes with them, and that's what happened with Iverson. Iverson basically invented crossover dribbling nowadays that you see now. It's because of him. I mean, he's the reason they invented the carryover rule, because he was crossing fools up so hard, they had to make a rule for him. Yeah, look, Jerry West was good too. I'm not, look, all of those classic people, I'm definitely not saying that they aren't good. Okay, I'm just saying that there is a level of greatness. Okay, so let's say from the beginning of basketball up until a point, and then Michael Jordan came on, and Michael Jordan was above and beyond everybody. Okay, so all these great players right here, amazing. Jordan, here. So I can say Jordan's the best without, disqualifying all of these other players because they were amazing too. Jordan just operates on another level. AGI Pro DJ in the house. What's going on? Yeah, the sultry sounds of Cleveland Terry. Mojack's in the house. Good to see you, fam. Good to see you. Who else we got here? RM Vidal. We have Coolcon. Good to see you. Coolcon, the beginning DJ, rookie DJ on deck. Good morning and afternoon. That is a lot of words, Coolcon. Thank you so much. I appreciate you hanging out with me today. Hopefully we can teach yourself. Hopefully. Marcus Ball, I love this show. Thank you. I love this show too. I love it. I love it more when I have people on. So I've spent the last couple of days really trying to schedule my guests for next week. And I finally got that laid out because I made the mistake of not scheduling or not being as strong with my scheduling, like making sure that people could do it. And then I had a couple of no-shows. no fault to anybody there, but I had a couple of no-shows and it kind of screwed everything up. So I'm glad that I was able to get, I got Innofader on kind of the last minute. We were texting yesterday and Patrick's like, hey, you know, I'm like, hey, you want to get on? I have some space for next week. He goes, no, let's do it tomorrow. So he saved my butt, and hopefully, you know, we're going to help him out too. Mojak says Pod mic is the jam. It really is the jam. It's a great mic. I mean, there's no mic out there, in my opinion, that's better at $100. You could find better mics if you want to spend the money, but $100 and you get this quality, this feel, this look. It's a beautiful looking microphone. You know, that needs to be said. A lot of people are going to say it doesn't matter, it just matters about how it sounds, and it does. But the looking at me talking a microphone where you spend most of your time, this matches everything else. As a matter of fact, I used to have a big puffball on it to knock off my P's and my B's, and I didn't like the way it looked. I would rather have P's and B's than that. So all I do now is I'm just more conscious of the words that I say to stop me from doing that. But you know, there's a proper way to speak into a microphone. So I'm working on that just so I can keep the beauty of this mic exposed. See, I just did it right there. All right, let's see what else we got here. DJ Dre in the house, 287, checking in from Jersey. Good to see you. Music video DJs, good morning. This is music video DJs are the only channel. They're like MTV. They're literally on all day, all night. They have different DJs, you know, every hour or so DJing, and it's just music videos and DJs. So there's definitely a niche for that market. But if you really just want to do like the MTV style thing and enjoy, but with good DJs, then yeah, check out music video DJs. You know, good time. Spin Junkies in the house. T Diesel, what does this mean? Does this mean because I'm not British that I can't talk in the pod mic? I don't have that perfect hello. You're right. I know. There's nothing better than a Mojak's voice. I can't lie to you, but you'll just have to deal with my Southern California twang. DJ Jano in the house. Good to see you. DJ Six in the house. Rat Bone is, of course, in the house. DJ Easy Music Writer. Damn, the live stream is clean. What software are you using? It's not necessarily the software. It's more the hardware. So I'm using Restream Live Studio, which is kind of basically my OBS. A lot of people don't know about. You probably saw a video of mine about browser-based software, and that was one of them. Restream and StreamYards. I run everything through the ATEM Mini Pro, and then it goes out via one USB into this particular computer over here, this guy. And that's it. So the quality is coming from the G9 camera, the Leica lens, good lighting, the lens. I can't preface how much the lens comes into play here because it's completely dark in this room. But this is a amazingly great lens, amazingly expensive lens. But I kicked myself when I bought it because it was so much money. It cost more than the camera, but it also puts out an amazing picture. And this right here that you're seeing, this is only 720. I normally go 1080, especially when I'm doing my DJs, and I go straight out of the ATEM Mini Pro. That quality is absolutely amazing. And I learned that one from Mojak's stream. Mojax uses that, but he also has the Podcaster. I don't have the Podcaster, and I'm jealous of him for that. Okay, let's keep going down, and then we're going to bring on Innofader. Let's see here. Steve Disco Newsome, what is going on? Good to see you, fam. Follow Steve. Steve has a really good channel. Great vibes, great personality. If you like that, non-American twang, you know, that nice hello. That's Steve right there. So you'd be hard pressed to find anybody that sounds better than Mojax, but Steve comes close, and his sounds are fire. So make sure you check him out. Curry, thank you. That was the guy I was trying to say. Stephen Curry, you're right. Sorry guys, it's early. Twomp, the DJ in the house, what is going on? Metric DJ 3-star. I'm sure it's spelled completely different, and of course that's what I did there. Big Faizan, good to see you. Milky 513, we talking about practice. Classic line. Yeah, you guys can say the NBA logo of Jerry West. Look, Jerry West was good, but Jerry West will be the first one to tell you that if he had to play against, you know, people like Michael Jordan, he wouldn't stand a chance. But you know what's funny? If you play the NBA 2K and it's like the 2K21, my son has it. I was playing against him, and they have this whole entire section of like classic players. So you have like the Portland Trailblazers when they had like Clyde the Glide and like all these amazing players, and then you have, you know, the best of the Lakers, and Jerry West happens to be on there. It's like Jerry West, Kobe, Shaq, Magic, Kareem. It even has what's his face that was only on there for like a couple of years. But anyway, Jerry West on that team is unstoppable. Like to the point where you throw your controller down like, this is some BS. There's no way this man was that good. He's killing my team right now. They definitely boosted his numbers up. Now, was he good? Was he great? Yes. He's a damn logo, for God's sakes. Kind of ironic, though, that the entire league, it's like, you know, 75% black, but the logo happens to be an old white guy. Now, I know it was the time, it was, when it was, you know, pretty much all Caucasians playing ball, you know, but it's one of those kind of things. When they tried to make Kobe the logo, I actually didn't want that. I want the logo to remain the logo. So if it's Jerry West, then it needs to stay Jerry West. I'm not up for changing things just because. Like, that's just silly to me. What do we got here? A couple more people, and then we're gonna bring on the man. He's in the green room having his way. I'm trying to focus on you, and he's dancing in the background. Let's see if he puts that same show on when we bring him on. All right, Red Dog in the house. Who else we got here? Yeah, exactly. You do need that foam windshield. I know. I got it. It's sitting right. Where is it at? Here it is. I mean, I just want you to look at the size of this thing. Look at the size. It's super huge, and it blocks everything. Like this, I can't have this. So I will risk it. I will risk it until I get a podcaster, and then I can throw all of the effects on to remove some of those things. Yeah, the pop filters that they bring out are too large. They block my face. So until I figure out a way that I really want to do it, this is how we are right now. You're going to enjoy my P's and B's. Deal with it. All right, a couple more people. Y'all have not heard my voice yet. Well, no, we have not. Okay, hold on. I need to bring this up. NJX1. My girlfriend watches all your videos with me. It's a love-hate thing because she enjoys learning about equipment, but hates when I need something you're reviewing. I'm gonna say this. I think Mojax should start an OnlyFans. He should start an OnlyFans where he's just talking, and then you and your girl can just sit there and listen to him talk. I'm telling you, this is a revenue stream. This is an untapped revenue stream, Mojax. Untapped OnlyFans ASMR with Mojax. Knock it out, man. Thousands of dollars, man. Thousands of dollars. You won't even need BeatSource anymore. OnlyFans will provide you with everything. You won't be able to tell anybody what you do, but it'll be amazing financially. Joking Joe 13, thank you so much for checking in. Appreciate that. Mojax, this is the Leica 10 to 25 1.8. It is my favorite lens. It cost so much money. And when I went to buy it and I pulled out the money out of my account, I was like, I really shouldn't be doing this. It is so much money. And then I bought it. And even when I walked out, I was like, still so much money. Then I started using it for a couple of gig logs, and it's the best thing I ever bought. It's the best thing I ever bought. I know you have a GH5. It'll change your life. It'll change your life. And I'm talking about, and I have all of the other lenses. You know, I have the Voigtlanders and the 12 to 24 or 1235, you know, Panasonic. Like, I have them all. Nothing is better than this lens. Nothing. And it has a manual clutch, so I can adjust on the fly. This is it, man. This is it. If you're a Micro Four Thirds, it's really it's the first lens, if you can afford it, that you should buy, because you only need this lens. This lens will do pretty much everything for you. It never comes off my body. Off the camera body. That sounded weird. All right. A couple more. DJ Izzy B. That's my son, mid-tier DJ. Make sure you follow Izzy B. Make sure you follow him. He's on here all the time. Has a great time doing it. DJ Easy Music Writer. Thank you for the bits. I appreciate that. Or the money, I should say. I am using a DSL camera. Yes, 100%. All right, couple more, and then we're going to bring them on. All right. Any more questions? DJ Mighty Roll in the house. Good to see you, fam. DJ Rolando. Good to see you. Lehman in the house. L. Connor's in the house. Good to see you. And anybody else that we need to acknowledge before we start up, because every time we start up, I literally just forget the chat. So I try to do this now, get it out of the way. That way we'll be ready to go. Man Like Deeps, good to see you. You'll have to definitely explain to me what that name means. Yeah, I am I'm not fancy on a lot of things. I am not. But that lens, because you have to remember, when this lens came out, it was right at the point where I was like, should I move to the Sony, A7 III? Should I move somewhere else? Should I move to the Canon EOS? And that lens kept me from moving. This lens. It's the best lens I've ever owned. Yeah, it really does pay for itself. All right. Drop down. Francisco Aragon. Hey, thank you so much for the super chat money. I appreciate you there. Thank you. Thank you so much. So a couple of things. First off, shout out to my moderators, because they're always on taking care of me. Ratbone, T Diesel, John P, Lady Beats when she's on. She works for the police force, so sometimes she can't be on, even though I really love when she's on. But shout out to my moderators. A couple of things just before we start, before we bring in Patrick. A couple of things that I always talk about, and that is, yes, she is a cop. And that is ways to support this channel. What we're doing here takes a lot of time, takes a lot of energy, takes a lot of work. And I want to continue to keep doing this for you. But the only way I can do this is if, we're able to not have to do other things to, pay for life, to pay for the world. So there's a couple of ways that you can support the channel. And the easiest way to support the channel is just hitting that subscribe button. Subscribing definitely pays off. It's an easy thing. You're here anyway. It's like buying me a beer, buying me a cup of coffee, hit that. You can also support me via the bits if you're on Twitch, if you're on YouTube, as you've seen people doing right now with the super chats. Yeah, just throwing out a couple of dollars to support. Hey, it goes a long way in this rather strange economy. I know we're all facing the same things. But, you know, and as far as Twitch is concerned, it's kind of a dime a dozen. People throw out subs nonstop. So I just have to throw that out there. A couple other ways to support. Share the stream. Share and host the stream. Those are super easy ways. And if you are an Amazon Prime member, you can actually use your Prime subscription on me. It's free. Doesn't cost you anything. It's just going to me. So make sure that you can support me in any way you can. That's the key. For anybody that's on other things like Mixcloud or Facebook, the way you guys support me is to come over to the Twitch side. Come over to the Twitch side, support me here, because, you know, again, we're trying to be partner. So there's a lot of different ways that you can help the stream. So that's my spiel for the day here. Last question. Somebody asked about, what lens characteristics do you enjoy? I'm simple. I first off, I really want my lens to be transparent. If I wanted something that had character, I'd probably go with like my Voigtlander. I have a Voigtlander 17.5, which is the equivalent of a 35 millimeter lens. That has characteristic. That has definitely a cinema quality to it. This lens, this Leica, has its own characteristics, but it's more about the clarity and the detail and the crispness. That's far more important on this lens, and the low light capturing. So that's what I need for my lens. I need it to be able to work in low light, be crisp, and just be a smooth lens. I mean, it's one of my favorite lenses, honestly. So, okay. Why are we stopped here? All right. So last but not least, thank you for following DJ Kenny K. Appreciate you on that one. All right. So we're going to bring on the man now. In case anybody does or does not know, I did a review on the Realoop Elite a couple of weeks back, and it was a great mixer. But one of the standout things, I gotta get my earpiece in. One of the standout things about the mixer was the fact that it had this rather impressive Innofader Mini in it. And when I started using that, I honestly was like, this is an amazing fader. Like, you know, when you first tap into a fader, you're like, okay, this is good. And then you keep using it and you're like, wait a minute, no, this is really good. And you're like, no, this is impressive. And that's kind of the way I felt when I was using that Mini. And I thought that my scratches, my cuts were cleaner, but I didn't necessarily, I thought it was kind of in my mind, you know, it's a psychological thing. But then people were like, hey man, I think your cuts are cleaner. And that's when I knew that, yes, the fader definitely had something to do with it. I went back to my Rain 70 with the Mag 4 fader. That is a great fader. And I no lie, I was kind of missing the Innofader. So over the last couple of weeks, I've been talking with different people, and you know, it's quarantine and new products are coming out, and so I've been talking to a lot of people. And it just so happened that a mutual friend of mine recommended me to Patrick from Innofader, and we started talking. And I wanted to get him on the show because I thought that a lot of people don't necessarily know about Innofader, or more importantly, they don't know that you have the power, the control to modify your hardware. You don't have to be stuck with the faders that come with the equipment. You can make changes, and that's what Innofader does. So I'm ready to bring on Patrick. Throw some ones in the chat if you are ready to see Patrick. Throw some ones in the chat. By the way, DJ L Boogie, thank you for that $20 tip. I appreciate you. 12-inch disco singles. That is facts right there. I need to see some ones in the chat. All right, there we go. Oh no, we need more ones than that. There's enough people on here. I need to see more ones. There we go. See, I got the Twitch people. The Twitch people know the drill. They hit that one like immediately. I don't even have to finish the word one, and they're already throwing the ones in the chat. We're still working on the YouTube people. So, but that's okay. The fact that you're here, the fact that you're trying, is all that matters to me. All right. Okay, good. I'm connected. All right. So let's bring out the man right now. Let's do this. All right. Patrick, can you hear me?
I can hear you. Can you hear me?
I can hear you just fine, just
Mike,
fine, just
check
fine.
1 2 1 2. How's everybody doing today?
I think they're doing okay. I think they're doing okay.
You got a nice little group.
I really, really do. I am very, very impressed with my group. I've been building this thing for the last couple of weeks now, and I got some consistent numbers here, and they really love when I bring on guests. That is their thing. That's their jam right there when I bring on guests. So I'm so happy that you could make it today. I know it was last minute. Yeah, I know it was last minute, but the fact that you're able to do it, goes a long way. Let me put your name up here so you look professional. So this is something that I didn't know, and so for all the people that are wondering, so Patrick and I talked a little bit yesterday, and we got on the phone and we were talking, and like within like a second, there was all this information like going everywhere. And I'm like, well, let's stop talking. I don't want to know anymore. We need to save this for the stream. So, but one of the things that actually I was shocked about, I didn't know, is that your U.S. Location is, where is the U.S. location? It's in Alabama.
So, U.S., Canada, South America, all distributions come from the Gulf Coast. More importantly, Gulf Shores, Alabama. A lot of you might not be familiar with Gulf Shores. It's a little west of Pensacola, Florida. It's a little south of Mobile, Alabama. But, a lot of people don't know much about Alabama. Down south, country living. I'm in a pretty touristy area, real beachy. A lot of surf and sand, a lot of vacation rentals. So it's not really the Alabama that most people think about, rural. Although there are some, if you go probably 10 minutes down the road, there are some huge sod farms and, huge nurseries. There's a lot of agriculture out here. But sorry about that. I thought I muted all my phones.
It's okay.
Yeah, but Innofader is, it's a small product. So we don't need a humongous warehouse to house all these products. And we have Elliot currently living in Taiwan, where, he's closer to production. So he handles everything on that side of the planet, and I handle everything on this side of the planet. And yeah, Innofader is distributed from Gulf Shores, Alabama, actually.
So there are only, it's a small company. I think people need to understand this. You don't have a lot of like human resources. It's you, it's Elliot, and that's about it as far as like sales, administration. It's just you two.
In regards to people actually running the day-to-day, it's me and Elliot. And we do have a few people that, are great ambassadors. And we've got a ton of DJs that have been rocking with the brand forever. And we've got a ton of people, our mutual friend included, Drew Bach, who have contributed to the brand over the years, whether it is small ideas or big changes. Innofader has very much been a cultural project in a sense that, Elliot has been able to really listen to the market and the DJs that use the products and make these changes and pivot because we are such a small company. We don't have to run it past 5-10 people in a board meeting and see what they think. If it makes sense, we can make it happen. It can go. But day to day, it's me and Elliot, man. It's me and Elliot. As a matter of fact, in every single Innofader box, there is a card that lets you know if you have any questions, you can call me or Elliot. My cell phone number is right on this card. It's in every Innofader box that's sold. So is Elliot's.
That's crazy. So let's step back for a minute because you just mentioned Elliot, and obviously Elliot is the influence. Yeah, exactly. So I guess the question would be, why even create Innofader? And I see a question here saying, what is Innofader? So can we talk about a little bit about why Elliot figured that this was something that he needed to do and and talk a little bit about what exactly Innofader is.
So I think in order to talk to discuss Innofader and why Innofader, I think we need to start at the roots. And last week you had Chris Roman from In Music on, and when Mojax had asked Chris, how did you get your start? Tell everybody where you got your start. He got his start with Elliot and Advanced Audio Concepts, AAC. Mm-hmm. This here is the Beatkeeper. It's a little beat up. It's old. But this was Elliot's first pretty remarkable invention. And what this allowed DJs to do is it allowed DJs to connect 2 turntables, 2 CD players. You go in, you go out to your mixer. So this was kind of like your source hit this first. And it gave you the BPMs of your track. So if you had a record over here and a record over here, it would actually read the BPM, had a phase meter here to let you know how locked in you were, kind of like the icicles in Serato or the phase meter in Tractor that we know today. And Elliot and Chris worked on this, and I think the story would go that Chris and Elliot went to Newmark, and Newmark loved this technology so much. This is the OG, the Advanced Audio Concepts version, but you'll be able to Google this and find the Beatkeeper sold by Newmark because they brought Elliot on board, Chris was on board, and they sold a ton of Beatkeepers. They took this technology and they put it into CD players, standalone devices, some of the things that you guys talked about last week on the show, mm-hmm. And they incorporated that technology. And I mean, if you think about it, before DJs had a way to count BPMs or to know if they were in phase, they just had to do it by ear. There was no assistance. There was no sync. No. There was no computer telling you what the BPM was. Serato had no phase meter. Mm-hmm. That's kind of where it all started, man. This is some OG history right here, the Beatkeeper. And, the Newmark CDN88, one of the most popular rack mount CD players ever, had the same little lights in the middle to let you know if you were in sync. It was able to mm-hmm. read the BPM from the CDs and let you know where you were at as you changed the pitch. And it really helped DJs get a handle on mixing. It took that having to count beats, having to BPM your stuff out of the equation, and just made the workflow a little bit easier. Then Elliot spent a good bit of time at Newmark, working on projects with Chris and Jack and the team there. Created a lot of technology that they use today. And I think at some point, Elliot decided that he wanted to make his own product. He wanted to make a boutique mixer. And that is really where the Innofader started. Mm-hmm. He created the AEM 100. Now, back in about 2005, this showed at NAMM. Price was about $399. This mixer is so unique and so ahead of its time in so many ways. Elliot is great at designing effects, DSP, digital stuff. He packed this mixer with stutter and digitize and phaser, and it's actually got an oscillator where you can, tune in your own tones, and it's got fader cuts that you can actually, this was kind of controversial. Some people were like, buttons for cuts, what is that? But I mean, we see it today on the SB2 or the SB3 with the pad modes, and on the Rain 72 with the automatic cutting. But this was 15 years ago in an analog form. And Elliot created this to where, you can actually change the cut style of the buttons and the curve and how they would slope and the time of, like, if you press the button, how long would it mute or unmute the track depending on where the fader was. Just way ahead of its time. Inputs and outputs out the wazoo. But here's what happened. At the time, in polling a lot of DJs and asking, what's a great fader to use? Best Staxo 5, those VCA faders of the time, they were amazing. A lot of DJs really liked them. The Pro X Fade was on the market, and a lot of DJs really liked the analog feel of the Pro X Fade. And Elliot said, okay, we're going to make this mixer with a Pro X Fade. Now, the only downside to that is that over time, with heavy use, DJs started to complain. They started to say, I got to clean this thing a lot. I got to take it apart. It's conductive. It's a contact fader. It's conductive plastic, I believe. And over time, it would just get gunked up, and DJs would complain about it. This
Sure.
is the short end of the story. So Elliot started to think to himself, MIT graduate, the inventor that he is, already had been working in the DJ industry with different types of technologies. Elliot said, why don't I make a non-contact fader? Now, a non-contact fader was nothing new. DJ Focus created the first non-contact fader in 1995, 1996, when he was with Stanton. That actually used photo interrupters, basically infrared, kind of like your remote control. Had a little infrared sensors, and there would be a little wiper that would break the infrared beam, and that's how it would cut out the sound. That was a non-contact fader. That was the first non-contact fader. But Elliot took a different approach, different technology, and he created the first Innofader would be the Innofader Pro, the original Pro. This is actually an Innofader Pro 2 in my hand. Or it was just the Innofader when it originally came out. And this uses capacitive resistive technology. So there's a sensor in here on the stem. It's there's two boards that sense where the sensor is. And there's a lot of electronics components on the back here. Solid metal chassis. I mean, you could drive a nail with this thing. Fluid, camera here. Fluid stem, tension adjustment, cut-in adjustment. And he said, let's give faders a shot. Mixers were great, but he really felt like he had something that could really change the way DJs DJ. Scratch DJs in general were kind of the market at first because scratch DJs abused their faders. They were always beating up their faders. Faders were always bleeding. They were always replacing them. They were always hacking their fader, credit card hacks, put little pieces of credit card in there to make it sharper. There was just so much. And the Innofader took off again through community, through Elliot going to trade shows and going around and showing people. You got to think Elliot is he's like 6'2", 6'3", he's real skinny, kind of quirky guy. He's not a DJ. He was a karaoke DJ in college though, but he's never really been a DJ. But he's always really enjoyed watching DJs really appreciate and enjoy the technology that he's created. Sure. And that's always been like the driving force. So if DJs love his products, Elliot's happy. And Elliot's always more than happy to go out of his way to make DJs happy because, again, that's what really moves him. So over time, DJs would give him input. The faders evolved. Drew, like I mentioned earlier, has always been, kind of in and out of helping out Innofader. There's been other DJs, countless DJs, so many people. I don't want to start naming a bunch of names because I don't want anybody to feel like I'm forgetting about them. But just know that there are a lot of members of what we call the Inno fam, people that have contributed in one way or the other. Either they've tested the faders, they've given input, they've come up with great ideas. And also the users have come up with great ideas. Take my money already and give that's funny. But yeah, Innofader, the Innofader's been around for about 11 or 12 years now. So that would put it back in 2008, 2009 maybe. In 2012, we had the Pro, which the Pro fader has this eight wire loom, and it uses a series of adapter boards, so it's really easy. So this adapter board is for a Vestax. You just plug this in, and then you plug in your Vestax cable here, and boom, it's all hooked up. And then we came out with the P&P, or the plug and play. This uses a series of adapter cables. So it's not as compatible as the Pro is, but it is a super compatible fader, typically VCA mixers, some digital with the right adapter. And you would just plug in this little pin. There's 3-pin, there's 4-pin, there's big 4-pin, little 4-pin. And of course, you go to our website, there's a whole alphabetical list. It tells you all the mixers that we're compatible with. It'll tell you what pin to use or what number adapter to use. If there's any special instructions that you might want to know about installing in this particular mixer, there's a whole knowledge base, a forum, pictures, videos. And of course, every single Innofader has my cell phone number and Elliot's cell phone number in it. So if you're going to install your fader and you're not sure, just call me on my cell. I'm here to help. But
how many times have you gotten calls at 3 a.m? Just out of curiosity.
I get some random phone calls from like Brazil or the UK. Yeah, it happens. I do have to shut it off though. I do.
Yeah.
I literally work 7 days a week. I'm at my desk, I would say 5, sometimes 6 days a week. I also own a mobile DJ business, and I do a lot of corporate events, nightclubs, weddings. So I do that as well. But sometimes on Sunday I'll leave my phone on the desk, or
it is Sunday.
It's Sunday. I do have 4 kids too. So
oh God,
been married 20 years, got 4 kids, a daughter 18, and then my boys are 16, 12, 16, 13, and 11 actually. So I got my
you still have some young ones though, so that's a lot of work.
Yeah, it is a lot of work. No, you were talking earlier about taking an 8-year-old grocery shopping. Try taking a 4-year-old, a 6-year-old, a 9-year-old.
That's why I typically do all the shopping by myself alone, because I don't want to do it.
It's miserable.
I know. I noticed in the back there you had you have a light writer right in the back there.
Yep.
Yeah. That's I use that too. I love the light writer.
I got sound switch.
Really is.
I got sound switch too.
So
I like sound switch. It's a little work though. You really got to put in some work if you really want to use it to its full potential.
I'm OG.
The sound switch.
Yeah, the sound switch.
Yeah, I'm actually later on today I'm going to work on some scenes and whatnot. But yeah, so listen, in 2012 things changed. In 2012, I want to say it was maybe Jim Mazur from Native Instruments at the time came to Elliot and said that they wanted to use Innofader in a new mixer they had coming out. But I think the size of the fader and the cost of the fader just wasn't up to spec with what Native Instruments wanted to release. And that birthed the Mini Innofader. Now, this is actually a Mini Innofader Pro. This is what's actually in the Reloop Elite that you have been using. Right. But the retail version of this fader is the Mini Innofader Plus. It's pretty much the same fader. It just has different connectors and different application. So this is this Mini Innofader Pro is sold as an upgrade for people who want to upgrade an older Innofader that maybe came in that old Native Instruments mixer because those original Innofaders were not adjustable. So maybe I'm moving a little fast. So Native Instruments, the Z2 mixer, very popular scratch mixer, tractor mixer. It doesn't have any badging on it, but that mixer has 3 Innofader Minis in it. And that was the start of that, and I believe DJ Tech mixers was the start of Innofader in the OEM world. And for those that don't know, OEM means original equipment from the manufacturer. So it basically, instead of buying an Innofader to put into a mixer that you already have, like a Rain 72 or a Pioneer S9, you buy a mixer from the manufacturer, and they're already using our technology. So you can either upgrade to a better Innofader, and it's super easy because the wiring's already designed for it, or you can just keep the fader that comes in it. 9 times out of 10, it's fantastic for what it does. So 2012, the retail Mini Innofader was born, and what that allowed was, think as in 2012, 2013, controllers are starting to get real popular. Controllers are everywhere, but you can't fit this big thing in a controller, at least not a lot of controllers. So with the Mini,
gotcha.
Much smaller, still the same non-contact technology, still very soft and fluid. And then the Mini Innofader was born. And now you fast forward to 2020, we've the Newmark Scratch, phenomenal mixer with the Mini Innofader, the Reloop Elite, 3 Mini Innofader Pros. A lot of people don't know this, but Allen and Heath's Zone 96, Zone 92, one of the most iconic club mixers of all time. Its predecessor has a Mini Innofader as a crossfader. Mojax actually told a funny story when he would be DJing in the clubs. overseas, a lot of the standard equipment would be a Zone 92. And he would always
Mm-hmm.
say, "Oh, I'm blasted. This thing's the fader is shot. I just know it." Because they didn't use non-contact crossfaders in that particular mixer. So
Mm-hmm.
he said this, it was a nice sight to see that Allen and Heath was stepping up and putting a mini Innofader in there for the crossfader for the DJs that really did want to use the crossfader and scratch on a mixer like that. The Akai AMX, that's been out for a while. Nice, small, portable Serato controller, used in open format DJing, portableism, you name it. Really, really creative little small controller that has a mini Innofader in it. All the DJ Tech mixers, the Epsilon mixers. Man, there's I feel like I'm missing some, but there's a lot. And
So
there will
it
be more
seems
to
like,
come.
yeah, it seems like basically anybody that doesn't have their own technology naturally migrates to the Innofader because they know it works right out the box. There is no question about it. So, why build our own when we can just go and get one that's tried and true and tested? And it's, I mean, you are essentially an OEM dealer because you don't have like, you don't have a dedicated storefront. You have the website, which is informative only, and then you have resellers of your product. So I have to imagine that the majority of your buyers are corporate.
I mean, we sell a lot. We sell a
Do you?
lot of these retail faders. We
Okay.
sell a lot of
Mhm.
them. I mean, I don't necessarily want to give specifics, but we move a lot of faders
Sure.
every month. A lot of
Okay.
faders. And
Good.
then there are there are the manufacturers who may come back to us and say, "Hey, we're about to do another run of this particular product. We need more mini Innofaders." And then there might be manufacturers that might come to us and say, "Hey, we're thinking of doing this, and we're
Mhm.
considering using an Innofader. What do you got?" Or they may say, "Hey, we want to do something a little different. Can you adapt?" And we'll go there. Interestingly enough, Innofader is actually I think we're done. Innofader's designed a 100 millimeter non-contact motorized fader for mixing boards.
Really? That's
Flying
cool.
faders.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's
Huh.
we actually showed it at NAMM this year, but nobody really paid too much attention to it. I think there was
Right.
probably a few manufacturers that were like, "Oh my
Mhm.
goodness, what's this?" But the people who have mixing boards and DAWs, they wanted something non-contact, something that's not going to bleed or go bad over time, something
That
that's got
makes
a
sense.
brain that they can
Mhm.
kind of program and kind of get exactly what they want out of it. There's
Interesting.
that, and obviously portableism is something that we touched on. I think Innofader was probably the first to install a fader in a PTO1. Back in the day,
Yep. Mhm.
hacking a little slot for your fader and using a nano board.
Right.
Obviously, there's
Who's the
tons
guy
of
that
people
does
that have
that?
come after, but
Jesse? I want to say Jesse.
Jesse Dean, yeah,
Yes. There you go. Thank you. Because
Jesse
he
Dean.
uses your faders. Yeah. Hmm.
No.
Okay.
Actually, no. Jesse Dean has his own faders. Jesse
Oh,
makes his
gotcha.
own faders. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. I don't know why I don't know why I put you two together. Probably shouldn't have.
No, it's all
Probably because
good.
you.
It's all good.
But you guys also did the smaller portable Newmark one that just came out. It doesn't not have an Innofader in it.
The smaller portable, the Newmark Scratch.
Yes, correct. So
Absolutely.
that has an okay, gotcha. And then the mixer has the Innofader also.
Yes, the mixer has the
Okay.
Innofader. Another thing that we have done with portableism would be Raiden fader, the battery powered RXI F1 and F2,
Yes.
rechargeable portable fader with the 1/8" inputs and
Right.
outputs, rechargeable. And then there's also the Raiden RPM 100. It's a really small mixer. It's black with white writing, black knobs.
Mhm.
That has an Innofader in it. And actually at NAMM, there's a small company out of California called Muse Ovations, and they are actually using an Innofader in a digital effects. I'm going to totally botch this. I know it. It's like a digital effects box, but the design is that of a crossfader and using the steps of resolution in the crossfader to affect the way the effects affect the way the effects manipulate the music. So, and it's really for like people who use like the little smaller boutique kind of synthesizers and drum machines. But
it's like a hardware chaos pad.
Yeah, it's basically, yeah, and it's pretty interesting. It's called the Fader Later. If anybody wants to Google it, you'll probably see pictures from NAMM. It's pretty unique. But see, that's another really cool thing about what we do and us being such a small company is that if somebody comes to us and they have a really great idea, they could talk to Elliot and say, hey, is this possible? Can we do this? I'd like to buy some faders. I'd like to make this project, or I'd like to create this, and I want to use your fader. And a lot of people come to us because they know the faders are tried and true. They know the faders are going to last forever, but our warranty, our customer service, when that mixer has the Innofader badge on it, the manufacturer knows if there's an issue, they don't have to call me or send me an email or send my team an email or send my customer service department an email or blow up their phone lines. They could just call Pat on the cell. Hey, Pat, I got this new mark scratch. For some reason, my fader's out of calibration. Oh, well, let me tell you how to recalibrate it. It's super easy. Take the bottom door off, press the button, move the fader, boom, fix the problem. If for some reason there's a defect, something happened, hey, I got you. I'm going to put one in a priority mail envelope and I'll have it to you in 1 to 2 business days. Put the other one on the shelf. We're here. And it's really rewarding.
And there's a lot to be said about that. I know a lot of companies, that's probably the most worrisome thing about buying products from people is what happens if it breaks. Yep. And I think companies like Rain is a perfect example. When Rain was local before they were purchased by InMusic, you knew that when you got on a phone, the person that answered, it's likely the person that's going to be fixing your product. If you went to the Serato forums and you're talking about Rain products, the person that's literally in the support tech for them is working on your product. So you knew exactly what was going to happen. And 9 times out of 10, when you sent a product in, it came back fixed with like extra stuff just because they were just great people there. Like I remember the day when they shut down because I had a mixer there. And it was a 57 and it was just sitting there and I had forgotten about it because, it's a 57 and we moved on to 62s and S9s and all that stuff. And then she calls and she says, hey, you need to pay for this mixer and get it shipped out to you immediately. I have no idea after tomorrow if you're going to be able to get this mixer back. So, and I just said, what do you mean? It goes, oh, they just shut us down. And I was just sad about that. And I saw on the chat here, I see Mark from DJ Works. I know that he has now retired.
A legend.
Yeah. Total legend. Big fan. Hey,
Mark holds a very special place in Innofader history. Mark actually created the Innofader logo, among other things.
Did he really?
Absolutely.
Okay. Well, Mark, if you're still on, I definitely want to get you on. I think
legend.
Your story
OG.
Is going to be amazing. So
Scratchworks,
if you're down, let me know. Yeah. DJ. I found myself, I was on DJ Works all the time when I was younger. That was the place to go when you wanted to learn about new product. It was the tried and true, respected website. It's like DJ Works and, hiphopsite.com. It's amazing the size of the world because during quarantine, I've run into so many people that like affected my childhood. It's amazing, So Mark, I want to get you on, buddy. So just send me a message. I definitely want to get you on. All right. Somebody asked a question up higher. What did they say? Okay, here we go. Milky said, if you had to get back into mixers, since you guys did leave the mixer biz, which one would you work with or make yourselves and why?
So Innofader left the mixer biz, but if you had to get back into mixers, which one would you work with or make yourself?
Correct.
So we do work with a lot of manufacturers, from in music brands to Reloop, to Allen and Heath, to brands all over the world. So we still are in their mixers. If we had to get back, if we had to get back, who would we work with? Well, here's the thing. That this is the beauty of what we do, and I think I may have touched on this a little bit when we were on the call briefly yesterday. If Bob works for Company A, and he represents Company A's products, Bob is kind of bound to representing Company A. Mm-hmm. Bob can like Company B's products, but he can't speak on it publicly. He can't show it. He can't say, check out this cool new Innofader mixed fader collaboration. He can't do that because that's just, Bob's bosses probably wouldn't like that very much.
Right.
Innofader has always been a product that is designed to work with as many things as possible. And as the company matures, and as this brand and that brand says, hey, we'd like to use your technology, we don't really play favorites. We don't really, there's not many people that we won't work with, unless they're just like being super unethical about something, or we wouldn't want to have our name on that product, or something like that. But so in a way, we still are really in the mixer business in that sense. If we had to create our own mixer with someone, I feel like this is a loaded question.
A little bit.
I would say this. Everybody has used the mini Innofader in their projects, and I am waiting for the manufacturer who says, hey, let's put a Pro 2 full-bodied fader into a mixer. We can do it. We can do it affordably. Call Elliot. Call me.
Gotcha.
Let's make it happen.
Okay, I get that. That makes sense. And the full body one, that's the one that works in the Rain 70?
Yeah. So actually, this is Innofader PNP2 with a digital adapter. This is Rain 72, Rain 70. Just a little sneak peek inside the box, and people, anybody who gets an Innofader for the first time will tell you opening up an Innofader is magical. But you open up the Innofader, and of course there's a card with Elliot's note in there. Please give us a ring if you have any questions, you need any help. There's your instructions. There's some record labels. There's some cue markers, record labels, cue markers, and then we have the fader packaged up here in bubble wrap, and then we have things like screws and washers and fader caps and stickers, digital adapter, and then we have our adapter cables. We have our brackets. But yeah, this would be, and I'll go ahead and grab this one that's already out of the package. This is the fader that works in the Rain 70 or the Rain 72. A lot of people have been quite happy with the performance of this fader in the Rain mixer. Full-bodied Innofader. It's got tension adjustment here. You move the stem. You can use a little screwdriver. You can tighten the tension. You can loosen the tension. With this particular mixer, because it's a digital mixer, you don't really have to use the pots here. So like in a let's say a Vestax mixer, or a Pioneer DDJ SZ, or even in the Newmark Scratch, if you wanted to upgrade the mini Innofader to one of these PNP faders, it's super easy. When you plug it in, you turn on the mixer, you use these little dials right here to adjust the cut in. So you play something on deck 1 and you move the fader and you're like, that's not sharp enough. I'm going to turn this little dial right here with a screwdriver, get it sharper. Okay, that works. I'm going to move to the other side. I'm going to turn this little dial. I'm going to open and close it. Okay, that works. That's about how I'd like it. And then if you want, you could go super crazy, and you can even adjust the curve. I mean, these are all the different curve slopes. And when I say curve, it's not necessarily the curve of a crossfader going from left to right and how it affects the sound. It's the way that sound comes in when you open the fader. So you can have a really abrupt, full loud, or it can have like a soft, kind of curve on it as you open it. It, again, out of the box, this thing, plug and play, works, no problem. If you really want to get nerdy and you really want to fine tune things, you can. But again, for the rain, because it's digital, there's a digital adapter. You plug this thing in, you crank both of these knobs all the way to 5 o'clock, and then you just go into your rain settings and you adjust your fader from the menu.
Oh,
0.0,
perfect.
0.1, 0.5, and everything works perfect. Full MIDI. Yeah.
Okay. Somebody asked about making a calibration video. Do you guys have any videos?
Man, we got videos everywhere. So there's a lot of people that make videos for us that want to help out. I wear so many hats. I should probably make more content. That's on my to-do list. It was on my to-do list for 2020, but 2020 came along and said, nope, nothing you're going to do this year is going to be anyway. I mean, we had a phenomenal NAMM show. We had, I don't know if you had a chance to swing by our booth. We had the big video wall right behind Pioneer. Had an awesome time at NAMM. Had an epic NAMM show, and then after NAMM.
Oh yeah, I remember that. Yeah, I was there. Did you share?
You
share with somebody else?
Skins Infinity Faders. That's the homies.
Yes. Yeah. So I did go there. Yeah, that's right. It was good. It was good.
Shout out to my Planet DJs fam.
Because you were right across from Odyssey. Odyssey Cases. Exactly.
Yep.
Yeah.
And I actually brought Rob Swift and Mr. Sinister out to NAMM, and it was kind of cool. Okay. Rob and Sin were about to do their Saturday showcase, and Qbert was setting up across the way at Odyssey, and everybody was getting a little loud with sound check, and we were kind of hoping they would do a little impromptu battle, but right. Everybody kept it real showcasey and professional. We didn't get to see a little impromptu battle, but it was still kind of cool to see Qbert across the aisle with, Rob Swift and Mr. Sinister over here, knowing the history. Right. To me in this industry, history is so important. There's always something new popping up every day, and a lot of people just look at it as just consumer goods. But there's a lot of passion in this industry. There's a lot of people that have poured their hearts into these products and these brands. There's a lot of people who really live this and love this. And I think, keeping that history alive is super important, especially as we get into the next generation of DJing. Just like it is teaching the art of DJing, I think with a lot of these products that people have come to love and use in their day-to-day life, it's really interesting to know about the people who design them and their history. Right. It's not just a bunch of engineers sitting in a room that are oblivious to the world. A lot of these products were designed by people that you probably know and love, or maybe you don't love them, but you know them. And they're just like you and I. They're DJs who've gotten their way into the business, and they're able to give their input and kind of pull their peer groups and pull the market and kind of see what the DJs want and implement these changes and really get to talk to the engineers that do the real super technical stuff, right. And say, hey, this needs to be this way. See, oftentimes engineers, they just want to do it in the most efficient way or the most cost-effective way. And that's where these real passionate, kind of one foot in the DJ realm, one foot in the manufacturing realm individuals come into play, because they're able to say, listen, I know you want to make that shortcut, but this is why it doesn't make sense. Let me explain to you. It needs to be this way because DJs work this way, or this would be a great idea because, etc. So,
right. Yeah. And I think that's important, because when you first mentioned to me that Elliot was potentially a karaoke DJ, but he's not like a DJ, a DJ, as some people would say. I think it's important that he understands that, yes, I have limited experience and knowledge in this craft. I have a passion for it, but it's not necessarily, my strong suit. Bring in some people that actually have that part in their lives, and then allow them to have an opinion and not just make a product. Because I know there's tons of people out there right now, tons of companies that make products and they don't listen to their user base. And they keep making these products that people are like, hey, it'd be nice if you would do this, because they're not listening to the user base. And it seems like Innofader is 100% about the user base. And if there's something wrong, let's make the adjustments. Let's get it fixed. Let's get it worked out. So that's actually amazing. That's an amazing part of this. So about NAMM. So I know you guys go to NAMM every year. Do you find, is it more just about kind of showing face, or do you actually find that like you get a lot of sales and maybe new purchases and corporations, or is it just about, hey, we're out here at NAMM because that's what you're supposed to do at NAMM?
Yes and no. Yes and yes. So being a part of what's happening in the industry is super important. Especially to us, being around our peers, going over to our manufacturing partners' booths, swinging by the in music room and seeing the Newmark scratch on display and maybe shaking some hands and saying hello is super important. Going by the Reloop booth and maybe laying down a set or hanging out with the guys, talking about the Elite, explaining it to potential buyers or maybe some DJs who are there either to showcase or just hanging around NAMM. That's super important. Having a booth for us this year in particular, we wanted a booth that was inviting for all DJs. And what we did, because 12-inch skins and obviously Innofader has a product for the Rain mixers and the Pioneer mixers, and they also have platters for portablists. The Reloop Spin, they actually just released the Reloop Spin platter, and they had the PTO1 platter as well.
By the way, that Reloop Spin is dope.
It is dope. It's very dope. So, and 12-inch skins. So, in the kind of the grand scheme of things, like Innofader and 12-inch skins are probably the biggest and most compatible brand. Like 12-inch skins has skins for everything, literally. And we have faders that go in pretty much everything. So what we wanted to do is we wanted to showcase our partners that we work with, whether it's a Denon MCX 8000 with an Innofader in it, skinned in all gold from 12-inch skins, or if it is 3 Newmark scratch mixers that already have the Innofader in them, but 12-inch skins made like a Jordan retro colorway, right. A Jordan 6 colorway, and an all gold skin for one, and have those accessible for people to kind of come by and say, hey, this fader feels great. This skin looks amazing. This is awesome. And then they can look up and they can see Rob Swift and Mr. Sinister. And we got a big video wall with content playing all day. Another thing that we did at NAMM with Swift Style, Freddie Garcia from Scratch Break, was early before NAMM, I told Freddie I wanted to break a world record. I wanted to do the largest DJ carousel ever recorded. For anybody that doesn't know, a DJ carousel is when a DJ is beat juggling and bringing the record back, another DJ will come around and catch the record, bring it back, boom. And the DJs kind of shuffle and they try to keep that backspin going. And they've gotten pretty big, 8, 10, 12, 20 people. But there's so many DJs at NAMM, I said, what better place to do this? And Freddie was like, hey, I don't know if we could probably get that many people in there to shuffle, but how about we make the largest collective scratch break video ever made? And, we unfortunately, our schedule got jammed up. We weren't able to record on Saturday or Friday, I think it was. But every day at a certain time, we invited DJs to the booth, and Swift Style with Scratch Break had his camera set up. We had cameras with the video wall that were recording overhead and side shots. So we took that footage as well. And every DJ from, Rob Swift, just everybody that was there. Unfortunately, the Beat Junkies missed it. They showed up on Sunday. They thought we were recording, but we weren't recording on Sunday. But, anybody that was at NAMM got into this video. And I think it was like 98 or 99, maybe 101 DJs. Everybody just 4-8 bars. and it's a pretty, it's a big video. There's almost 100 DJs in this Scratch Break collective video. We actually thought it was the biggest Scratch Break or the biggest Scratch collective, but apparently they, I think maybe it was IDA. They had a video, I think overseas, maybe Germany, maybe in the Ukraine. I'm not really sure, but they had 140 DJs all scratched in a video. So we didn't quite, break the record, but that really wasn't the point. It wasn't really the point to like break a record and be like, look at my record. It was to do something unique and say, hey, like, everybody comes together at NAMM, but like we're, a bunch of DJs, but we don't really get to like do much together. So let's find a way to put everybody in the same piece of content that can live on the internet forever. And, it's something that we can do again next year. Well, not next year because we don't get NAMM this year, but the year after. And that's another, I started with Jason Gully from One Stop DJ Shop. I started the Thursday night DJ social at NAMM in partnership with NAMM at the host hotel, the Hilton, because I wanted an event that was sponsored by NAMM for DJs to come mingle with buyers, manufacturers, influencers, celebrity DJs, bedroom DJs, and everybody in between. I try to use this platform to bring people together as much as possible.
Good. As it should. I mean, a lot of people want to go to NAMM. They don't realize the connection, the camaraderie, because people don't realize NAMM's a big place, but the DJ area,
1.2 million square feet.
Yeah, right. But the DJ area is super small. We're just like a little toe print in this huge entire place. And all of the industry people are there. I mean, you have Pioneer, literally, which, by the way, Pioneer has an enormous booth, as they always do every year. But then right across from that, you got Reloop, and they have theirs. And then you're right across from that. And it's everybody's right there. And it's one of those times where you're sitting there going, you would think this would be an issue with all these competitors, kind of being so close together. But it's once you get into that mecca as a DJ, you're just like, I'm home. Yeah. Everything I've ever wanted is right here, unless you're Rain, and then you have to go upstairs and into the hallway. But we won't talk about that one.
Give them hell. Give them hell.
It's funny because that was one of my first breakthrough videos. Because it was the first time I went to NAMM, and I wanted to see this new Rain 72, the MK1, and the 12s, and the entire video was about their presentation because they were in a hallway, literally.
Yeah, the little small booth at the end of the hallway in the upstairs breezeway.
Exactly. The breezeway to get to the other side. Yeah, it was something like that, and I could not get over the fact that this brand new company in music purchased and this new product, and it's in a hallway, and I got so much shit for that, so much. That's probably one of my worst reviewed, but it also kind of put me on the map. I guess I was controversial. Who knew? But if you were there at NAMM, everybody had the same impression as I did. Like, why are they really in a hallway? It's like, yeah. Like, no. This is just like a little teaser. Like, there's somewhere else here. No. This is it right here. So, it's funny to me. But let's talk about the Rain segue. The Rain MK2, the Rain, I'm drawing a blank right now, 72. When the Rain 72 came out, one of the biggest complaints was this new fader that they had come out with specifically for the Rain 72. As we know, when the Rain 70 came out, they upgraded the fader. Now we're on the Mac 4s as opposed to the Mac 3s. A lot of people don't know this because they thought that they were kind of stuck with this fader that a lot of people just didn't like. It was heavy. It was resistant. Like, there was just so many little things about it as a scratch DJ that made you go, this is kind of weird that they use this fader. A lot of people don't know that Innofader is one of the main reasons that the Rain 72 was allowed to be successful, because you provided an alternative to the faders, because the mixer itself people loved. They just didn't love the faders. So you were able to come in and swap out all those questionable faders. Some people like them, so I'm not going to say that they're bad, but questionable faders for a lot of people, and give them an alternative. And I know that was huge for you guys. You want to talk about that a little bit?
So yeah, the Rain 72, obviously a newer mixer in a new generation of Rain, under the InMusic banner. DJs get used to certain things, and they really don't like change. And it's not always true, but in some cases,
it's true.
The fader in the older Rain mixers was something that a lot of DJs got really used to. So when the 72 came out with the Mag 3, a lot of DJs were like, I don't like this fader, and it's all subjective, We're not going to say that Rain made a horrible fader. A lot of people liked the fader. Rain put a lot of development into that fader. InMusic put a lot of work into that project. But there were DJs that said, hey, I don't really like this fader. Whether it's, it's just them being subjective, or them, feeling like, hey, this doesn't feel like my 62. It's not the same. For whatever the case may be, some people just didn't like it. And, I wouldn't necessarily say that Innofader allowed the Rain 72 to live, because it's an iconic mixer, and it's got its place in history. But I will say that, I'll go back to my, what I was saying earlier about how I get to work with all of these different brands, and we get to put our faders in all these different products. And because there's not a ton of us, I get to see everything. And
right.
I will say that in that time period that the Rain 72 came out, when we had compatibility, we were selling Rain 72 faders at a crazy rate, crazier than anything else. And the Rain 72 fader is basically a PNP2 that has a digital adapter and a special bracket. So if you want a fader for your Rain 72 or your Rain 70, you have to buy this one specific fader. Whereas, it will work in a Vestax, it'll work in other mixers too. You just don't use the digital adapter. But if you wanted one for your Rain 70 or 72, you had to buy this fader. So it wasn't like people were just buying Pro 2 faders and I didn't know what they were going in. I knew where these faders were going. They were going in Rain mixers. So when you're looking at what you're selling on a daily or a weekly basis, and you see how many Rain 72 faders go out, and it's staggering, there's a lot of people that put Rain 72 faders into their Rain 72.
Yeah, I get that. Yeah, and hey, you know what? I think the most important part is that there was an alternative. I mean, look, mixers aren't cheap, and a lot of people, pre-ordered them, just got them right off the bat, and it takes a while to kind of realize I like something or I don't like something. And I think you provided a valuable alternative to people that were on the fence. I saw the mixer at NAMM, and I messed with the fader, and I don't consider myself to be a scratch DJ or anything, but I did not like the fader. It was super heavy to me, even with the tension control, all the way open. So it just wasn't for me, but there's a lot of people that were like, no, this fader is great. To each their own. Some people like, super heavy faders, and I am 100% okay with that. I'm seeing people in the post saying that, 72 sucks in general. That is definitely, your opinion. I want to clear up Mark. Mark said I'm not retiring, so that's my bad. Hey, I think off to new ventures. Either way, I want to bring you on so you can share your truth, because that's what this is about. Sharing your own truth.
Mark is an OG, man, and that guy is a treasure trove of information. I mean, if you think of all the time he spent reviewing, I mean, one of the best reviews of the AEM 100 mixer was done by Scratchworks, was done by Mark and his crew. So when you think about the history, especially with like what you do and what other influencers do in this space where they review gear. I mean, Mark he's an OG, and he's seen a lot of gear. seen a whole lot of gear.
Right.
So
Yeah.
Treasure trove of info.
He is. One day that'll be me. Some new kid will be on here like, hey, can you come on and talk? I'm like, I'm that guy.
You know what?
Okay.
Cleveland Terry. Terry Cleveland is your name?
They're both my name.
Terry.
Yes.
That's your real
Cleveland Terry Bowens is my full name. Yes.
I literally thought you were, man, listen, up until like an hour ago, I really thought that maybe you were from Cleveland, and that's just like, your name was Terry, and Cleveland Terry.
I get it all the time.
It works. Real name, no gimmicks.
No gimmicks. So now it's like I've started just putting CT on like my emails to people. It's like you don't have to go through the trouble. I know this is hard for you mentally to grasp because they're like, Terry, Cleveland, Cleve, like, just call me CT. Make it easy on you. But yeah, and I honestly, when I did it, because I've gone by so many names. We're DJs. The name changes, over time. It's gone from so many things. And then finally, when I was like, I think I'm just going to go by my name. I didn't think this was going to be an issue, but I spend so much time correcting people. It's funny to me. It is actually very funny because it's like, hey, what's the weather like in Ohio? I have no idea. It's probably crappy. It's Ohio. I see Mojax is back. As he said, I'm back, bitches. Good to see you, pal.
Mojax.
Let's see. So a couple of people on here have said they've gone to the website looking for the merch, and they want the shirt. So I actually want this shirt. So let's
Cleveland, I got
that.
you one, buddy. You're good. Guys, listen, if you go to let's see, it should be up in the background. Oh, my screen's locked now. If you go to www.innofader.com, or if you go to Innofader's Facebook page and you click shop, it'll take you to a store that does list the Innofader t-shirt. We have Glowtronic slip mats. We have Innofader t-shirts. We try to keep, we try to keep everything focused on really the core of what we do, which is faders. We don't have a zillion branded products for sale. This shirt was only available as a gift up until about a year ago. It was designed by Paul Scratch from Scratcher, and we would only give them to people that were in the crew or in the Innofam. And it just got to the point where people wanted this shirt so bad, where I was like, all right, look, we'll make some shirts and we will put them up for sale. They're pretty reasonably priced. We're not trying to break your wallet for a t-shirt. I
don't see the shop on the website. Maybe
listen. So what you got to do? Hold on here. Let me.
Because I can pull it up here too. Hold on. Let me do that.
Let's go to. I know from Facebook it's super easy. So at the top you click where to buy, and then the very first thing it says is if you cannot find a dealer near you, please place your order online. And you click online, and then boom, there it is. It's got t-shirts, mounting brackets, replacement parts. So click where to buy, and then click right there where it says if you cannot find a dealer near you, please shop online. AGI Pro DJ with the link.
There we go. I will tell you, you might want to just throw a little top tab on there.
Listen, our website it's been around a while. It's had a lot of. It's just been piled on and piled on and piled on. Biggest opportunity for Innofader, revamp the website. that would be the biggest opportunity right now.
Yeah, because I went on yesterday and I was just looking at everything, and I was going to I think I was going to what's the first page? I think it was like the reviews, and I can't remember exactly which one I was on, and it was like or the forum. It was like 2008, and then it was like 2014, and it was like that was it. I was like, oh, okay. We might want to revamp that one a little bit.
Yeah, there's some nuggets. There's some really great nuggets on that forum with pictures, and there's some backlinks that take you to instructional things. for certain faders. Mojax just posted in the chat, Innofader, great products, shitty website. AGI Pro with facts.
You know,
Thank you,
at
gentlemen.
least you know. At least you know your weak point. You know what you need to work on. So that's more important.
Yeah. No, like I said, our biggest opportunity right now is revamping our website. But you know, hey, listen, if you do websites, holler at your boy Patrick at audioinnovate.com. Let's talk about revamping the Innofader website.
There you go. Lehman, they've called me everything, pal. Everything. Okay, so let's see what we got here. If there's any more questions, by the way, guys, if you have any questions about Innofader, obviously now is the time to throw them out there. We're going to keep him on as long as we can, but the man's got to work too. He's one of 2 people that handles, 7 billion people. So, he's got to get back to work here. So ask the questions. If you have any questions for him, we're going to drop down here because I'm never up.
Somebody asked earlier about the Vinyl Richie. Would it not make sense to have shop in the top? Absolutely. Email sales at Audio Innovate and tell Elliot to fix it.
Oh my God! Did Mark make the site for you?
I think Mark did. Yep, Mark did. I didn't want.
Hold on. We got. He might be dropping off here. Let me see if I can close this stupid thing out because it does happen on occasion. Yeah, he's definitely dead in the water. He's not coming back, so we'll bring him back on in just a second. If I can exit out this guy, and then exit out the website. I see him back in the green room, so we'll bring him on. Hold on, let's just kill this. Go away. All right, hold on. All right, there. I still see you on the bottom here, and you kick guest off. It won't kick you off.
I don't know what happened. It just boop. I was talking about how I didn't want to out Mark about how he created that site so long ago, because technically, like I said, Mark helped a lot, and again, Mark is an OG in so many ways. Mark's got a lot of history with Innofader, and Elliot and I, more Elliot so than I, because I wasn't around at the inception of the brand. But yes, Mark did create that site, but he created it so many years ago. So it's not like saying that Mark's work is shoddy. So many years ago, it was a phenomenal site, but over time, we've
back when MySpace was around.
Yeah, we've just kind of added to it and kind of worked with what we had. And when you're developing new stuff and you're working with manufacturers and you're handling your day-to-day, and then you're trying to deal with artists and DJs and day-to-day operations, the website's working. Could it be better? Yes, absolutely. But the thing is that I'm really trying to implement a website and a mobile strategy as well.
It needs to be scalable.
Well, what I want essentially is the knowledge base that's there to basically, I want an app that uses the information on the website so the information doesn't have to live in 2 separate places.
Okay.
I'm not an app developer, but I'm pretty sure there's a way to aggregate the data on the website into the app when I say Vestax, PMC07, or PMC06.
It's
Pro
data
2,
tables.
And then boom, it'll give me all of that data.
Yeah.
So that it's in part to why it hasn't been a priority, because that app is definitely a priority, and the app's going to do a lot more than just give you information. The game plan is to have it talk to the fader as well, make things a little easier on you. So if you want to adjust your fader, you just boop, everything. We run everything off of these things nowadays.
you're in a dead zone. I need to adjust my fader, but I can't.
I mean, it's crazy.
Somebody did say, okay, so two questions is, Soulwork said, is there a plan to create, this is actually a good question, is there a plan to create external tension adjust in future models? So like with my Rain 70, I have a tension adjust out here that can't be used after I swap out.
It's super difficult, you know. I mean, to take, so the tension adjustment on the Innofader is, you know, we have it set up with this little, there it is.
No, here, let me bump you up here.
Boom, boom. So you can see there's a little screw right there. There's a little Phillips head screw in there. You can adjust the tension and set it, and boom. Me personally, I set my tension once and I don't change it. And a majority of DJs we know they set their tension one time and that's it. But there are DJs that share mixers. They got their buddy over. Their buddy likes a little, you know, with a little bit more tension. Sometimes they don't want as much tension when they're doing certain scratches because the fader is just too loose. And, you know, I get it. They want to change it on the fly. The problem with that is once we get the fader mounted, let's use a Rain 72, for example. Once we get the fader mounted at a Rain 72, then we have to find a solution to mechanically have the knob that's there extend and wind up in that little hole that you can move on the fly, which would require a complete and total retooling of the Innofader because you're not going to be able to line up that screw and then press some kind of thing in through the mixer. It's really difficult, and it's going to cost a lot of money. So,
gotcha.
You know, I don't necessarily know if it's really in the cards, unless we would also be.
It would be specific to the mixer. You have to make a fader for every mixer because they're all different places.
Yeah. Unless we could find a way to do it, digitally somehow with some sort of resistance that is, you can tell the fader to, I don't even know how. I mean, that would be super involved. But again, the majority of the DJs are happy with, if every DJ was like, man, look, I got to have tension control, then obviously we would, that's something we would try to figure out. But it's just such a small number of DJs. And I'm sorry to the DJs that really do want tension control. It's kind of a give and take. You can keep tension control if you keep the Magvel fader in your S9. You can keep tension control if you keep the Mag 3 or 4 in your Rain 70 or 72. But you don't get the precision, the quality of the Innofader, the benefits of the Innofader. You don't get to use that. Now, if you want to put the Innofader in, yes, you can adjust the tension. You can get it super tight if you want it. You can have it, buttery. I mean, these faders, I just love doing this because it's so smooth. And there's no lateral motion on this. I mean, there's no lateral motion. This fader is solid. For those of you that have never felt one of these faders, I would encourage you, if you don't like it, buy it from us. If you don't like it, return it. I'm telling you, when you feel this fader, when you feel how good it feels in the mixer, screwed in, ready to go, I promise you, 99.5% of you will never go back. And I truly mean that. I was a fan of Innofader before I got an opportunity to work for the company. I've always loved Innofader products. So I'm speaking from experience of being the consumer and finding the Innofader myself for the first time and going, oh my goodness, holy crap, this is amazing. And then I nagged Elliot for a really long time, and he sent me a bunch of stickers. And then I started working for another company, and I was at NAMM, and Elliot and I met. And then a few years later, he asked me to come work for the company, and the rest is history. And I'm probably going to be here till I die.
Fair enough. Another question is said, Red Dog asks, what is the difference between the lag in calibration as opposed to the curve cut?
What's the difference between the lag in calibration as opposed to the curve cut? I don't necessarily understand that
I
question.
think he's probably talking about how you can adjust when the fader comes in the calibration, but then you can also adjust the curve cut to kind of adjust when it comes in. Like, what is the main difference? It's probably just the sharpness, where it's like the roll off of the fader as you're coming in, because the curve.
Yeah. So just to be specific, with the minis, the mini Innofaders do not have these potentiometers like the full body faders do. So the way that you adjust things with the minis is this little silver button right here. Whoop, my finger's over it. Yeah, this little silver button right here. The mini has 2 or 3 different like input curves. So you can have on off sharp, which is super abrupt. You can have a more slope curve. So as you open it, when you do open that fader, it's not full volume. Like you got to give it just a little bit more to be fully open. And then there's like a third curve. And then on top of that curve that you can change, the 3 different curves, you have the cut in adjustment. So you can have it to where it cuts in at, you know, 1/10 of a millimeter, or you could have it to where it cuts in at 1/5 of a millimeter. With the big fader, you've got these 2 potentiometers on each side that you dial in your cut point. So if you turn this dial too far, the fader's bleeding. You turn it counterclockwise just a little bit, and now it's not bleeding anymore, and you have it to your sharpness. And then you can actually, do I have the wrong fader here? What did I do with my fader? Yeah. So like with the P&P2, once you get your cut-in adjustment, you can then change the curve. And if you look, there's all these different, you know, there's like super abrupt would be that right angle. There's a softer curve. There's a more linear curve. And again, these are all of these different curves are going to affect the way the sound comes when you open it up. And it also depends on what sound you are opening the fader to. So if you're scratching an ah sample, you will find that when you open the fader on a sharp right angle curve versus a smoother linear curve, it's going to sound a little warmer and a little bit more organic than a super sharp, in your face, abrupt cut in. Some DJs like it. Now we're getting like into super scratch nerdum at this point. Most people who use the Innofader for just normal regular DJing, they leave the curve at 12 o'clock, which again is just a straight, just slope, open up the fader, easy, not abrupt, doesn't have a real soft curve to it, just boop, one way, normal, I guess you would say. I hope that answered the question. I really do. I hope that.
I hope so. I do. So, I mean, look, it's one thing to bring somebody on and not really kind of have used the product, but I've actually used the product, and I'm super impressed by the product, and you know, I actually can't wait to try out. I want to try the difference between the Mag 4 and the Innofader. That'll be a really interesting video.
We got you.
Really interesting.
We're gonna make that. Cleveland Terry is gonna make that video.
Yeah, and that will come super fast unless some of the shipments come, and then I have to put it by the wayside for a couple of days. But you know, this is a weird time, you know. Hey, so before we leave, just make sure there are no more questions. Oh, do you want to discuss pricing wise? What's the difference in pricing between the products?
Mojax, that's what upfaders are for. Yeah. So there's so for products, there's really 3 main products. There's the Mini, there's the Pro 2, which is the long body fader. The Pro 2 again has these adapter boards, which I think I lost my adapter board somewhere. The Pro 2 has adapter boards. The Pro 2 and the P&P2. P&P is going to be easy plug and play with these pins, mostly VCA mixers. But again, we do have the Rain 72 is a P&P2 with a digital adapter. We did that so the fader is cheaper, so you don't have to buy a $160 $70 fader or $180 fader, you can buy a $140 fader. And then we have the Pro 2, which is probably the Swiss Army knife of Innofaders, because it has the most products that it works with because of the adapter boards. And then we have like variants. So like I said, the PNP2, that's also the Rain 72 fader. The Rain 7072 fader is its own product. It has the right adapter. It has the right bracket. Then we also have a mini that is for the old Pioneer DJM mixers, the 300, the 400, the 5, the 600. We had to make a special fader for that. We have a special mini for the Pioneer S9. It's a different kind of voltage, so we had to change some things there. We have a special mini for the Pioneer S9. We also have a special digital fader for the Allen and Heath mixers, which, I don't think we sell a whole bunch of those currently. But at the core of it all, can you put that in the, yes, you can put it in the Quattro and Duo. Is it better than the Galileo? That's subjective. In my opinion, yes, but some people may think otherwise. Yes, the Innofader works in the Quattro and the Duo. So
they mentioned the Roland 707 too. Is that
Roland
switchable? 707?
I believe Daniel from Roland tested the Mini Innofader in the 707, and he stated the 707. I know we have the Mini Innofader Plus works in the 505. It works in the Roland DJ 808. Again, Daniel from Roland did test the Mini in the 707, and he said it works. So if you're curious, shoot me an email, patrick@audioinnovate.com. If you'd like to get one for your 707, I'll reach out to Daniel and find out exactly which adapter cable he used, so that way I can tell you, and we'll get it up on the site. Probably just slipped through the cracks.
I'm gonna be selfish for a second. I'm gonna be selfish. What about for the Denon Prime Go?
We haven't actually tested that one yet. I haven't got my hands on a Prime Go yet. But
we're gonna have to work that out.
Yeah, if you want to send me one, we can. We send me yours. I can open it up and tell you if I can put one in there. Or we can get another one sent out. But I will say this: the Prime 2, the Prime 4, Mini Innofader all day long, super easy installation. 1, 2, 3, nothing special. Plug it in, mount it on the bracket, put the cap on, and go. Yes, they work on vintage gear, absolutely. These faders will go Vestax, Stanton, old stuff all day long. But yeah, to answer your question, though,
yes,
pricing. So the Innofader Pro 2 is $159.99. Again, it is the most versatile. You can put it in your old Vestax. You can put it in your new Pioneer DJM 900 Nexus. The PNP2 is same build quality, same 3 potentiometers, a little different design when it comes to how it works. But it's all electrical. It's not mechanical. Same buttery smooth fader with tension control. These faders are $125. And then we have the Mini Plus. This fader is $99.99. This Mini, don't let it fool you. Just because it's small and it'll work in a controller, it'll still work in a Vestax PMC05. It'll still work, the S9 variant. It'll still work in your Denon Prime. And then we have one more, which is the Mini Innofader Pro at $49. Now, that is for PTO1 Scratch. We have one for the Reloop Spin. And then we have one for SC1000 projects, or if you have an older mixer, like a DJ Tech mixer or a Native Instrument Z2 or an Akai AMX that came with the original OEM Mini Innofader that wasn't adjustable and wasn't as sharp as these new ones. For $50, you can upgrade the fader, plug and play. The fader's adjustable, just like our retail faders. You can get it super, super sharp down to 1/10 of a millimeter. It's either 1/10 of a millimeter or bleeding. Pick one. That's how sharp you can get it. Or you can have it set to 1 millimeter, 3.2 millimeter.
Mojak says you're a hero, by the way.
I just realized last time I saw Patrick was when I had to get an Uber from LA to Anaheim.
In the middle of the night.
Man, let me speak on this real quick. So Mojax, actually Mojax, we got to get that Elliot interview up, man. Elliot was Mojax was by the booth. He actually left a pretty important piece of gear behind. I spotted it. I thought it was Mojax's. I grabbed it from the booth, brought it to my hotel room, and hit up Mojax and was like, "Yo, you missing something, G?" And he's like, "Oh man, he was already in LA." Well, we were already in Anaheim. We had a whole bunch of stuff going on with the people that we were with. None of us really had any time to break and drive all the way to LA, and Mojax really needed that piece of gear. So 7 phone calls and an hour Uber drive later, Mojax pops up at the hotel. "I got you. I gotta go though. Let me dap you out. I'm out, and I'm gonna drive back to LA now."
What was it? His wedding ring?
No, it was camera gear. It was camera gear. I don't want to say what it is because I don't want to put him on the spot, but it may be company gear, it may be his. I don't know. I don't want to put him on the spot, but yeah, he left it behind.
Cam. It was a crotch cam. He said, "Oh yeah, it definitely needs that. That's really, really important." His motorized slider. Oh, by the way, Mojax, this cup is perfect size. I don't need you commenting on the size of my cup. You never comment on the size of another man's cup anyway. All right. So let's see. Did we answer everybody's questions today? That is hilariously large. It's just it's like the rearview mirror. It just looks larger than it really is. And it's yellow and it's got sunflowers on it. Like everything that's wrong about it is all on display. But it's actually my favorite. It is my favorite cup. Yeah. And it's for water. You got to hydrate, right? That's all I've been drinking. Past month, I cut out, I don't know about you. By the way, are you streaming at all? No streaming?
Between 4 kids, where I live currently, we're doing events, man. We're doing events.
Oh, you mean because you're in Alabama? Is that a red state? Yeah, that you say no more. We know.
Say no more. But we're being very careful. We got some custom masks from Glowtronics that I've been rocking, maintaining my social distance, stay out of my booth.
I'm surprised Elliot didn't make a mask for you. He's like, "I've engineered the perfect mask."
That's crazy. No, that sounds like something Elliot would do.
Well, when you send me product, just make sure you clean it off.
I got you. We're gonna light up. We're good. We're good. Hey, man, look, 4 kids. My wife and I, we have managed to dodge the bullet. We've been very safe. We've been very careful. We take it seriously. We don't think it's a hoax. We don't think it's not a game. It's not political theater. We take it seriously. So we're fortunate. We, knock on wood, we're doing good.
Vinyl Richie asked the question one more time. It's hard to go back up. So ask the question one more time. We'll get you answered as the last question of the day. So ask it again. I don't want to skip anybody. Yeah, but it's tough. People don't realize once you have children, when you're single or you just have a girlfriend, it's not the same. You know what I mean? But the moment you have kids, you start thinking about their health, their safety. It's a whole different animal. All right, let's see. Here's Vinyl Richie's question. Okay. It's going to cut off on there. Can you answer my question regarding in the NO PNP2? Can I use it with the DJM 909?
The 909 is one of those unique faders that we had to make specifically for the 909 and the 707. Richie, if you want one, email me, patrick@audioinnovate.com. I will give you a phenomenal price on one. I think I have a B-stock one that we opened just for photos. It's never been used. It is the full-size fader, just like this, the full-body fader, and it works amazing in the 909 or the 707.
Okay. Hopefully that answers your question, Vinyl Richie. Okay, look, we have taken up a large amount of time from Patrick, and I honestly appreciate you hanging out today.
Hey,
and
man, I
answering these
appreciate you
questions.
having me.
Yeah,
Mo
it was great.
Jackson's
It
in
was
the
great.
building. Mark was in the building. This has been a great stream.
Yeah. We're like I said, this stream has been doing very, very well, and I can't complain about it. I enjoy being involved because for me, it's also about learning new information too. Because there's a lot of things I'll bring people on, and I'll have no idea about the history, and the history is what makes this show so valuable. And I think the older you get, my wife makes fun of me. Right, the beekeeper. The older you get, the more you want to know about history. It's the weirdest thing. Like I find myself watching like the History Channel and Discovery Channel, just doing my thing. So I appreciate you hanging out with us. I really hope to get Mark on. Hopefully he'll send me a message, honestly, because I do want to get you on. Ladies and gentlemen, if you want to get, that's funny. That's the mixed fader with the Innofader. How they work
3D with 3D camo custom 12-inch skin. Hold on, let me see if I can get it to flip for you. That's a mixed fader with an Innofader in it. Still has all the functionality. Still has all the functionality of the mixed fader app. You can adjust the cut in, the curve from the app, but it has a non-contact Innofader in it. These go hot next week.
Really? Okay.
Yep. It's got a custom 12-inch skin from 12-inch Skins. It comes with a custom 7-inch slip mat from Glowtronics. The mix fader with the Innofader inside. And listen, anytime I can bring brands together to collaborate on something, the more the merrier. Everybody's happy. So special mix fader edition.
Yeah, fantastic. All right. Well, and I loved the mix fader kind of in its standard point. So I know it's going to be amazing now. I honestly didn't even know that they were still selling them. I didn't know that was a thing.
there's a huge community of people that love the mix fader.
Really? Yeah. Once they moved, I know they keep switching the software and the application and all these things, and I'm just like, I'm tired of making changes, And so,
so there's a whole bunch of useful uses for this. I mean, people just, at face value, they just think of it like as a portable fader for portable scratching. But I mean, you could Bluetooth this thing to your MacBook and use it in MIDI mode, and you could plop it right in the center of your mixer and use it to change the pitch on the fly and do crazy tricks with it. Like just anything that you could think of using a crossfader for in any software. You could throw this thing into MIDI mode and just put it on your MacBook and adjust gradients in Photoshop. I mean, just anything you can think about.
Right.
I mean,
that's true. You're very right.
Think outside the box.
I mean, a lot of people that are using OBS, maybe they want to transition. They can use that little fader as a transition from scene to scene. There's always little things you can do. You are right.
Add that thing right in.
Yeah. So anybody that's asking about what Mix Fader is the same company that is selling Phase. So I first bought a Mix Fader well before Phase ever came out, and I was so impressed by the quality. It was up on what's the stupid pay early? I forget what they call those things.
GoFundMe.
Yeah, it was on a GoFundMe, and I bought it. Waited like a year, then it finally came out, and it came out the way they sold it to you on the GoFundMe page. Not like Phase, where it was like, this should have been a GoFundMe, because this is definitely not ready for retail. But it's a really, really cool mixer. It's a Bluetooth mixer. It has great feel, and especially with the Innofader. A lot of people don't know about it, but it's definitely something, if you were looking for a portable fader, it's one to take a serious look at. Yeah. Still waiting on that Serato update. It's coming, guys. It's coming. I don't know exactly when, but the Serato update is coming. It's just slow and steady. We're not going to point any name games. It is what it is. Okay. So, Patrick, thank you for hanging out today, buddy. I really appreciate you.
Thank you.
We will definitely get back together, and we'll do some stuff. If you're interested, you know where to go. Innofader.com. That's the channel. Obviously, AGI Pro has been in the building. You can go right to there, and you can buy right from AGI Pro. That's family right there. They do a great job. But they have them at every retail establishment. It's not like they're a small company. They're large. Everybody, throw some ones in the chat if you appreciated what just happened today. Throw some ones in the chat. And guys, we'll sign off with Patrick. Thank you so much, man. I appreciate you. All right.
Thank you for having me.
Much. No problem, buddy. We'll talk soon. Have a good day, man.
Peace.
Enjoy those kids. All right. All right. So that was fantastic. And I hope you guys learned a little bit about Innofader. They do a great job. And like I said, even before the connection was made, it was a fader that I actually really did like. And I know a lot of people, when they buy something, they buy something like a Rain 70, a 72, an S9, they're like, why in the world would I buy a fader if I already have this fader? And, Rain and Pioneer, they're touting this fader as like the best fader ever made. So why in the world would I spend the money to get a better fader? And you say that because for the most part, they are really, really good faders. But when you try a fader that's like amazing, it kind of changes your perspective. And it is a premium purchase, but it's a premium purchase for the better. So yeah, you can be happy sticking with your default stuff and it'll do just fine. I've been rocking this Mac 4 on the Rain 70 since I sent the Elite back to Reloop. But in the back of my head, I was still thinking about that Innofader. I can't lie to you. But so all I'm saying is that if it is something you were looking at, if you want to improve, your cuts or just make them sharper for whatever reason, you're not happy with the fader that's already in the box, especially on controllers. The faders they throw on controllers for the most part are garbage. They do the job, but they're not premium. And a lot of people really do scratch and DJ on controllers. Controllers are no longer the toy that people used to make fun of. So if you are a controller DJ, hey, think about it. In all honesty, one of my favorite controllers is the DDJ 1000. I would consider upgrading that fader just because a lot of people, that is their only controller. All right, so I've said my deal. You know what it is. We're gonna leave this video up, obviously on what are we on? Twitch. We will cut it up and then repost it on YouTube. So for anybody that's like, I want to see it later, I've been pulling them down because people are getting silly. For some reason, people will go back to the stream later on, people that maybe weren't watching this before, and then they complain that they have to sit through all of this stuff in order to get to the interview. But I'm like, it's a live show. What do you expect me to do? It's a live show. So I pull them down now, and then I repost them because that's the only way to appease everybody. Plus, I can cut it up the way I would need to cut it up. All right, so today, sorry, Pete, missed the whole thing, but I will repost it soon. For everybody else, all the people that are on Twitch, we are going to be raiding my son. We're going to be raiding Izzy B right now because he is on his after-school special that he likes to call it. And back to good old tables and mixer setup. So anybody that wants to see it, I will repost it. Don't worry about that. I'll repost it soon. Might not be a toy, but it still hurts to see a DJ plunk a tiny new mark on top of some CDJs. I don't disagree with you. I've never been a fan of throwing your controller on the mixer. If you're DJing someplace, just figure out what they're using and learn how to use the product. Don't bring some random controller in and set it on top. That's garbage. Always be garbage to me. All right. So there you go. So Jason said that's why I got rid of the SR2. It didn't take the Innofader. There you go. So, it's a work in progress. I never loved scratching on any of my controllers until I got the DDJ 1000. And I actually enjoy using that now. When I was on the SX2, I couldn't stand scratching. I didn't like the jog wheels. But now with the 1000, I really do feel like it's closer to scratching. All right, guys. So are we winning tomorrow? What happens tomorrow? I don't know what that means. It has a solid fader, but it's real easy to say you got the Magville fader and call it a day. Oh yes, we are definitely winning. We're winning. We'll have a great show after the Lakers take it in 5. All right, guys. Yeah, the Magma fader is good, but when it's just a open fader and you can't really control things like you can on the S9, it just feels a little different. So anyway, I don't know why my son is on here posting on here mid-tier DJ when he's supposed to be DJing. There's nothing worse than a DJ who's not focusing on their crowd. Have you watched my video, son? Have you watched? Do you know what you're supposed to be doing? Okay. No controller on real DJ equipment. Exactly. Okay. So, guys, we are definitely going to start this raid. And we're going to get this thing going. Let's see if he pops up. All right. Izzy B, where are you at? He changed his name, so now the stupid raid is not pulling him up. There he is. Hey, he's got 5 without me. That's pretty good. That's pretty good. He's been working hard. He's affiliate now, so now he can take subs. So if you ever felt like giving that man some subs, 14-year-old needs to pay for his own dance classes. Dance classes aren't cheap. So all right, guys, let's get this started, ladies and gentlemen. I hope you guys had a fantastic time today. I did. If I'm on tomorrow, there's no interviews. I'll probably just be DJing and kind of breaking down music as I did in the past, which, by the way, will not be on YouTube. Anytime I'm playing commercial music, I do not post to YouTube. It'll only be on Twitch. So make sure you're following me on Twitch. We're gonna raid them. So DJ T-Babs, just stay on the channel. We're gonna raid him right now. His name is DJ Izzy B. So just hang on. My only rule of raids is stick on. Don't leave before the raid. Show some support when you get there. Throw it. If you have my emotes, throw them in the chat, and let's have a good old time. All right, y'all. So if you're on tomorrow will be Twitch only unless something dramatic happens and I need to tell everybody something. But tomorrow will be Twitch only DJing, and then we will raid Tweak Music Tips, and then we will raid Mojax, and then Mojax will raid me, and then it's a big old raid farm. All right, guys, let's start this raid. Let's get it going. And let's see, is this raid starting up? Yes, it is. Okay, perfect. All right. Thank you so much, Mojax. I appreciate that, man. Whew. All right, let's get out of here. Raid now. Let's go. Everybody else, we'll see you when we see you. Peace out.